We are live on the Fallout episode 5. We're going to talk everything down and dirty in the Big Brother Canada house this week. The last 24 hours, everything. I've got it all lined up. Let's start. Raphael is back. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well. Thank you.
It's been a freaking crazy week.
Busy week for sure. Both in and out of the house.
That BB Can Grand has been all over the map.
Mm-hmm.
Last 24 hours. We will get into that a little bit later, but let's start with Maddie won HOH.
Mm-hmm.
She goes ahead and nominates Jared and Kelsey. What did you think with those nominations?
I loved them and her speech. I loved it as well. This Lover's Paradise thing, I would have wanted to say it to Ashley season 3, to Andrew's season 2, to Emmett and Jillian season 1. I'm not a big fan of showmances, and particularly this season, the showmances are incredibly annoying. So the fact that she pointed it out there and targeted those two people who are incredibly irritating made me very happy, and it was a long time coming. Kelsey should have gone week 1 instead of Paige. So
I really enjoyed the line, "Please help us understand why we gave you a second chance at this game."
Same. And you remember I told you 2 weeks ago when we were talking about Kelsey or Levita returning, I said no matter what Kelsey says, she's just going to go back to being the person she is, because she's not a strategic person. She's not a very nice person, I don't think. And I think those two things combined, it was inevitable. And from the first second, she came in, spilled her game to Raul, did that whole thing. It was inevitable. And I'm glad Maddie called her out on it.
And I feel like she should have used that information later rather than sooner.
Yep.
Because it's been chaotic to begin with. Then Jared is all fired up that him and Maddie are on the block, and we had to deal with
jealous Jared.
Well, we'll talk about that. But Jared snaps at Maddie because they apparently had a deal.
Right.
Which is probably the deal that bitch spoke of.
Right. You're talking about Kelsey, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. She's just she's his biggest liability in the game. I mean, I think he is his own liability as well. But I don't know. I just think that I think he's a very immature person, and the way he responds to situations isn't very logical or smart. And I think that, yeah, sure, he yelled at Maddie, and that's the way he handles situations. He yelled at Raul before. He's yelled at Kelsey. He thinks aggression is the way forward, and in this society, he probably is able to do that. But I don't know. It was nice to see her just say, I don't give a fuck. I don't care, It
was interesting that you just mentioned that he thinks that, aggression is the answer to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're going to discuss that a little bit later about, the last 24 hours and how they have played out. But I want to, go through the week. And then, so our POV players were Ral, Jared, Nikki, Cassandra, Maddie. How insane was this competition? 3 blind mice.
I would have hated to do it myself. I would have been like Nikki. I would have gotten very irritated. But it was so great to watch, and it was so nice to see Nikki finally get a chance to play. What did you think of it?
I love Nikki's expression when she got chosen. She was like...
She was not impressed.
And she was a have-not, which she was also not impressed about.
Right. See, I wish this was gameplay on her behalf. I don't think it is, but...
No, it's strictly her crazy antics.
Strictly Nikki.
So... what do you think was going through Raul's mind helping Jared win the POV? I mean, that's not the brightest move on his part.
He's probably not the brightest tool in the shed either. Just criticizing everyone today.
Wanting to hang out with him outside of the game.
Right. I think he thought he prioritized people over the game, and I think that's because his understanding of the game is not very strong. Having said that, last week he was able to go against Mitch so easily and not Jared this week until, I don't know, it didn't make sense to me. I think he's a very illogical player, and I think he's strongly influenced by the prom king and queen, right? So whatever they say goes, and that's why I think he pretends to be this person who's very I can handle everything and I'm in charge, but really he's just their toy to play with, basically. And it doesn't surprise me what happened this week at all, because I just think that was his point in the game, was to be their asset and nothing else.
Do you think Jared's capable of another POV win, say this week?
I'd like to hope not.
This is true.
What do you think? I mean, he's probably the strongest physical competitor in the house, right?
But at the same time, he's relying on everybody else to help him win it.
True. And the competitions he's won so far this week and last week included, he had sort of assistance from other people, right? As you said, yeah. I don't know. And the early weeks he was in every single POV and he couldn't win a single one. So I think his ability in competitions is overrated, and the fact that he's had assistance has definitely helped him in the last two.
And then let's talk about, they had the cleaning task to win a pizza party.
Yeah.
Finally, Big Brother realizes the house is basically a mess, and if he offers, it's basically a bribe.
Right.
In all reality.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad they made them clean the house, but that is something they shouldn't be rewarded for.
Yeah, I'd agree, but I also think that they probably did it because it's not the most fun house, right? We were talking before we came live, we were talking about the season 4 cast versus the season 3 cast, and these guys just maybe aren't enjoying the experience enough. So putting that in there allows them to do that. They did this in Big Brother 15 UK as well. When you kind of have a miserable negative cast together, you want to give them parties so that
too many
conflicting characters.
Too many recruits compared to too many not really people that knew what they were getting themselves into.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's what I think. And I really personally enjoyed watching the party because it's like, yay, it's nice to see some fun. I don't know. Would you agree with me?
That brings me to jealous Jared and spin the bottle and Nick kissing Kelsey and Jared's meltdown from it.
Right. Again, immature, jealous, using aggression as the only outlet. I mean, he basically threw a tantrum, didn't he?
Yes. Cry Jared a river, because that's what happened.
Exactly. I was very unimpressed.
I feel like he would be one of those people that would be extremely hard to date, and if he keeps pulling these like tantrums in the real world, this is not going to last.
Exactly. And I think on the feeds in previous weeks he said stuff like, oh, I'm known as jealous Jared on the outside. Like, he's told Kelsey that people in the past, like his past relationships, like he's had people cheat on him and he's had like reasons to be jealous, and it's understandable.
And she's told him that she isn't good with jealous people.
Right. I don't know. They don't. She's mean. He's immature.
It's kind of like a messy situation.
I think there's no way they're going to work out. If Netta and John and Jillian and Emmett couldn't work out, there's no way Kelsey and Jared are going to work out, in my opinion.
It's interesting to see like what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, did you think... I think that like that side of his personality is what's going to be the detriment to his game. Would you agree that that's like his biggest weakness, is the fact that he's actually, again, like a very emotional player?
I think he's playing maybe a little too emotional, and I'm not sure how it's going to play out for him in the next few weeks. But that being said, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but coming into this week, we're seeing a little bit of a more aggressive side to Jared's game, and I don't think it's going to help him. I think it's going to I think it could be the detriment to his downfall.
Right.
Hopefully.
Right.
Hopefully, because I can't do it anymore.
You're done.
I'm done. I'm just done. And then so Cassandra pushing Maddie to replace Jared with Raul. I think that situation, I think Cassandra, once again, nobody's giving her the credit that she deserves because she's brilliant.
Agreed. I think she's the best player of this season, actually.
I really think that you're going to have a hard time winning if you're sitting beside Cassandra at the end, because she's got a good argument. And
every person that's gone home, pretty much, it's because she was the one who campaigned against them.
Every single one of them.
Yeah. And she campaigns very well, and she has very good relationships with people. And I think she's very good at using different strategies based on who she's talking to. I mean, I remember even weeks ago, she was in bed with Joel on the feeds, and she was talking about, Joel was like, who of the third wheel do you want to get out? And she kept saying, Raul, Raul, Raul. And I think, you know, once she has a mission, she sticks to it. And a few weeks later on, she got what she wanted. And I think we're going to carry on seeing that. So you either stay close to Cassandra or you're going to get packing soon.
Get out the door.
Which makes me worried about Nikki.
Well, and Nikki really, really, really wants Cassandra out.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nikki might be the only person in the house that's actually onto her.
Well, her and Raul were the only ones, right? Which makes Nikki, and it puts Nikki in a very dangerous position now. Her only real asset that she offers Cassandra is that she's weak at competitions, I think.
So I want to briefly talk about it.
Sure.
I don't know, you haven't been around much this week to watch the feeds and all that, but Kelsey earlier in the week actually had a cheat sheet.
I actually saw with the lipstick, yeah.
I think it was actually nail polish.
Okay.
What did you make of that? As like, I personally was happy to see Big Brother actually respond and get rid of it.
Yeah.
But what did you like think was
what do you mean?
What was going through her mind? Like, why when it's clearly against the rules?
We're talking about the girl who didn't even know what jury was, right? So doesn't surprise me. Like she I remember like in her intro video, she was acting like, oh, I got cast, but I'm too cool to even watch this show. Like, I don't need to be here. Like,
what am I doing here? Why is she here?
Why is she here? She's taken away the place of somebody who could have played the game well, who could have brought entertainment without bringing negativity. I don't know. And I think that
little negativity with their entertainment.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think the cheat sheet was just another example of her not respecting the show, not understanding what the show is about.
So this past week, rules have been broken, not just by Kelsey.
The Raul thing, which I was surprised wasn't shown on the show.
What? Yeah, Big Brother didn't show Raul clearly eating a hamburger and getting solitary confinement for 24 hours. That didn't happen.
Yeah, what?
And really, like, Raul, I don't think eating solidified, like, having 24 hours of solitary confinement. But then Kelsey has a cheat sheet, and all that happens to Kelsey is it's taken away.
Right.
Do you feel like Big Brother played a little bit of favoritism with that?
Yeah, I feel like Kelsey's gotten a little bit of favoritism here and there overall, actually. Because I think...
Not the only one, though.
Who else has received favoritism? What do you mean?
Okay. Last night on the feeds.
Sure, yeah, so I don't know about this. Tell me.
I'm just going to fast forward quickly to this, and then we'll go back to the episode.
Yeah, sounds
Last
good.
night on the feeds, someone had said, like, I don't remember who, because Sparky was Sparky and pushing the button on and off all freaking night.
Oh, right.
Okay, but he did say that, like, someone said, Nikki has been, during the Have Not week, she was actually being fed meals in the diary room.
Right.
And then Sparky cut the feed.
Right. Oh, what do I think of that?
Yeah, like, it's a favoritism once again.
I think with Nikki, the favoritism is, I wouldn't see it as favoritism so much so, just because, I mean, Nikki has health issues, right? And she was hospitalized since she was 8 years old until she was 18 for issues with food. So I guess she's the one instance in which I can kind of understand why they'd be making that favoritism. Of course, I could see it unfair on a general setting, but she has different conditions to what everybody else has. So I think I have a bit more sympathy there, if that makes sense.
I feel like maybe, like, in the case with Nikki and her health issues, I don't know if, like, maybe she shouldn't have ever been a have-not.
To begin with, yeah.
And, like, certain things, you know, I don't know. That's just how I feel about it.
People even argue that Nikki should have never been cast on Big Brother 7 UK, given the fact that her psychological background and whatnot. I mean, even in Big Brother 16 UK, she was the one who was given chocolates and other condiments that other people weren't given because it was on her contract.
And just like beginning of the season when she went in, she was given straws and
right
other contraband. So like I see it.
She's also kind of the star of the show, isn't she?
It's kind of the Nikki show. It's kind of the Tim show. So it's really, they don't want they're trying to keep her happy.
Yeah, Nikki will go. Nikki will leave.
Nikki doesn't care. She'll leave. So I think they just kind of want.
Yeah, but like, I agree what you mean, especially given the fact that we go back to season 1 where the rules were so strict and like Emmett was called out when he cheated, and like I agree with you that it's unfair and that different people get different treatment, especially when it comes to punishments, and the fact that Kelsey got none. But I guess that's the nature of Big Brother, isn't it? It's never going to be, you're kind of given the hand that you draw.
Yeah. As someone who has been backdoored this past week in the online game,
okay.
I mean, I didn't have a chance to fight. I know what it feels like. Right. I didn't like it. I was kind of mad. I was a little bit of a bitter juror. I've kind of gotten over it as I've learned some things. But yeah, I mean, Raul basically, now I want to talk about this just because it's like something that's bugging me all the time.
Sure.
Half of these people don't know what the true backdoor is.
Oh, really? What do they insinuate that it is?
Well, I see a true backdoor as someone who wasn't able to compete in the competition.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is like...
Right. So after veto, they were replacement nominee without a chance to save themselves. Right.
Yeah, like they didn't even play in the actual...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess Jared's gotten some special treatment too.
Why, does Kelsey call backdoor something else?
Yeah, I mean, some people, they just don't get it. They're like, we need to backdoor, but like it's not a true backdoor unless they haven't played in the POV, I think.
Right. I would tend to agree, yeah.
And I think like you see it in other seasons as well, that like they think it's a backdoor, but it's not really a backdoor.
Uh-huh.
And it just kind of drives me nuts.
As a super fan, you know.
As a fan.
Yeah.
I also hate the term super fan.
Oh, really? I like it. I feel like because there's a difference, right, between a super fan and a fan. So
I think
to establish that superiority.
But even with like the super fan, it's one of those terms that's starting to get overused.
I would agree. Yeah, that's true. Especially after season 3.
And then you get those like fans that kind of have an idea, but they don't really know the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think there should be a term out there where someone that takes superfan to another level, like, I mean, come on, live feeding 24/7 is stressful.
Right.
And I think it gives you another advantage in the sense where it's
totally.
So I wouldn't call myself a super fan. I would call myself maybe a mega fan or an ultimate fan, but super fan, I just can't do it.
Right.
And Joel is the only super fan in this game. And Jared didn't know who Jillian was. Thanks, David.
Oh, well, Jared didn't know who Emmett was either.
Okay, so that's funny about that. Because
they are kind of, it's almost like he was typecast to be the next Emmett.
And the other thing about not knowing who Emmett was, he mentions Emmett as his favorite Big Brother Canada player in his bio on Big Brother.
I saw.
So it's kind of like, I think he's playing it off and he knows more than he's leading on. But then again, he is not the sharpest tool in the shed, and I'm done. Like, I'm done with him. Just freaking done.
Right.
Especially after the events of today.
Well, isn't Maddie a super fan?
I wouldn't call Maddie a super fan.
In that, she applied all 4 seasons, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So somewhat of a dedicated fan.
Dedicated, maybe not super fan, because
nothing like a Willow or Jordan or Neha.
No. Jordan, Neha, Johnny, all of them are super fans.
There's so many in season 3. Bring them back.
rep the superfan if you're going to try and be one.
Right.
But if you are one, I don't think it's smart to mention.
Well, that's what Johnny Mac did smartly, right? In season 17 of US.
Yeah, I don't think it's like wise.
Why? And Joel talks so much about his knowledge of the game, and I think that is probably one of his biggest weaknesses. Like, of course,
And I
in the
think
house,
that's
you're
going to send him
excited
out the door eventually.
because they're aware. But he's also
I would
lucky
say Maddie is a
that
dedicated.
he's with so many clueless people, you know? Like, I think if Willow was in this season or Neha was in this season, they would have done so much better because they're with a bunch of clueless people.
I think it would be a very different game if they were in there.
Right.
You know, they keep mentioning this. They're like worried about a triple.
Right. On the topic of Willow, yeah, the triple.
They're worried about a double.
I don't actually think they'll do a triple, to be honest. I think they'll do another double, but
okay, well, we're going in a finale week in like probably 2 weeks. We've got to drop some people soon and fast.
Oh, really? I didn't realize the time frame was that short.
Well, yeah, it's 77 days, so that puts middle of May.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 4, maybe 3 weeks away.
Right.
Yep.
I didn't realize, yeah. They got to speed it up. But I guess, yeah, maybe it can happen. Do you think a triple is going to happen?
No, I think a quad is coming.
For season 4? Right.
And I think they have no idea. And it is going to be great.
Right.
It's going to leave a lot of damage, and they're going to just, like, they're not going to know what hit them. I have stuck by my quad for season 4 since the beginning. And
at least there's been no instant this year, which makes me happy because an instant has, as we're talking about super fans, an instant has taken out a super fan every single time.
I wouldn't call it. Yeah, okay, yeah. I would agree with that.
You wouldn't call AJ a super fan, did you say?
I would. Well, I had to think about that for a second. I was like, wait, who went out season 1?
AJ, Allison, Neha. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Fair.
Fair enough. So that brings, let's talk about last night's episode.
Sure, yeah, we got distracted.
Oh my God. What did you think about Canada's voting 2 into a game of chance? We'll talk about that, and then we'll elaborate a little bit more on like the details of that a little bit further into it. But what did you think of that?
What did I think of it? I loved it. I thought this was the perfect kind of twist where it's entertaining for Canada. It changes something up. It's something that's not been done before, but at the same time, it doesn't affect the game so dramatically that it's unfair for certain people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and do you feel like those people that were chosen, do you feel like this is going to hinder their game a little bit just because they are loved by Canada so much that we wanted to see them HOH?
I think maybe with Nick and Phil a little bit. I think with Nikki, it doesn't really matter. I think if anything, it'll probably be an advantage to her because people say like, she's first of all harmless, and second of all, if we send her home, Canada's going to dislike us more. Like, we got to keep her, you know? So I think that'll help Nikki. With the brothers, I'm not sure. But I think it's actually a benefit to see that Canada likes you, at least in this stage of the game, because people won't want to get you out right away because they'll think that, oh, I can't upset Canada.
I can't shake the...
Well, like somebody like Raul, obviously he's gone, but all he seemed to care about was his fame, right? So somebody like Raul probably would have been very influenced by that and would have been like, oh, I can't put Nikki up now because, you know, I need to be the most popular. I don't want to like ruffle feathers with the public.
I just quickly okay, so
what did you think of the twist?
Okay, so I'm for it, obviously for certain reasons.
For the bros, yeah.
But I still don't I want a pure game. I don't want Canada involved.
Right.
I think we did enough just by voting internationals in. I didn't love the fact that we decided, hey, let's vote someone HOH, it was almost as bad as when Canada was HOH.
Season 2.
Yeah, and it was like we were forced to make that decision because the rest of the house wasn't going to put Sabrina or
Andrew
up.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like,
yeah, I know what you mean in the sense of that it takes away from developing a really natural game.
And
same with the Mitch thing, right? I mean, breaks my heart. He was my favorite, and I feel like he was going to win, and he was robbed of that opportunity because of something that was out of his hands.
What did you think of the meme contest?
The meme contest? Oh, I liked it. I thought, again, that was another attempt to kind of bring light to this cast.
To make this cast interesting.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Okay, so people talk about, to go off on a bit of a tangent here, people talk about how this season is good because everybody is so dramatic and there's so much drama. But when I was trying to reflect on that and why I don't enjoy this season as much, it's because, yes, drama is good, but if you don't care about anybody who's creating the drama, then it doesn't matter. It's like it's a group in school that you couldn't care less what they're doing about, however exciting what they're talking about is. And that's how I feel is how I would view this cast and how it's been progressing. Because, yes, it's been way more dramatic than season 3, but dramatic doesn't actually equal to entertaining, and that's what I kind of realized through watching season 4.
Yeah,
Sorry about that tangent.
I like tangents. It's okay. We have time.
Fair.
So, Tim won it.
Yes.
Obviously, there's no brick in Australia.
Oh, was it $1,000 gift card for the brick or just $1,000?
$1,000 gift card to the brick.
Oh, okay, that's funny.
But what I really like about that is, though, Tim is taking that gift card and he's doing something very Tim. He is donating it to a local charity that may need that. So,
I didn't know that.
Homeless shelter or, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
So I like that he's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he can't really use anything of it. And it was just like a little fun activity for him to take a jab at someone.
Right. Although, I don't know. I didn't actually think his meme was that great. I thought some of the others were better, but... What did you think? As a Brothers fan, did you think the meme was very elaborate or...
I didn't love the meme, but I liked the one with Nikki better.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
In the smoke, I thought that was a little bit more funny.
And that picture is priceless.
But I feel like maybe there was a little bit of favoritism there. We're seeing the favoritism.
Right.
And I think they knew that maybe Tim wouldn't be able to use it, so he's going to.
Oh, you think so? Well, was it the house guests who chose it or the producers who chose the winner?
I don't know.
It was kind of hard to tell.
It was kind of hard to tell.
But
nonetheless.
You could have almost interpreted it as Canada chose the winner.
Yeah, we didn't.
We didn't.
Yeah.
So it's either the producers or the cast.
I think it may have been a production thing. But I love production. So as much as. So I especially liked. What did you think of the Cassandra, Phil, and Nick fight in the storage room where Cassandra was all like, Kelsey?
Yeah.
Once again, you're seeing her mastermind tactics. She was like, what are you doing?
She's.
And then I really like the smug line. I think it was Phil who said it. No wonder the women are tearing each other apart this season.
Yeah, he did say it just as they walked out. And I also like the fact that Cassandra was like, I have to use my brain because clearly she won't. Or something like that.
Yeah, I really like. And then you could see the frustration in Kelsey building because even though they're playing as one, they're a lot alike in some ways.
Right. Yeah, when she was like, Nick's just repeating what Phil is saying.
Yeah. Like, you can tell that they somewhat have each other's back. But at the same time, like, Kelsey you could see the frustration building in her face where she was like, really?
Right.
So
I think actually, let me ask you a question. What you think as a Brothers fan? I think Phil can be quite arrogant in the way he speaks to people and quite condescending. In Kelsey's defense here, what would you say?
I would have to say that I think he's not the only one that speaks condescendingly.
Well, she does as well. Is that what you're saying?
She does. I think like half this cast speaks very condescendingly with each other at
Right.
like sometimes you're sitting there watching like game talk on the live feeds and you're like, really?
Yeah, clap, clap, clap.
You've been saying the same thing for the last 20 minutes and it's just like nailing. I sometimes have to like step back.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Jared does it a lot as well.
He does. Well, that's one thing I liked about Raul actually was that he would say, guys, I don't want to talk in circles. And
but then he would talk in circles.
Yeah.
That brings me to we didn't get a nice version of Raul this week. We got a spicier, fiery more side. Do you feel like him playing the spicy up could have been the downfall to his downfall?
I think maybe to a certain extent, especially on the feeds and stuff, he was very obnoxious and he was really like going boom, 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 even, with the 24-hour isolation. But I think
he was driving me nuts with the 24-hour isolation. So I was listening to this.
Years.
Not even that though. Okay, so I was listening to a conversation.
Right.
I think it was Jared, Joel, and Cassandra.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Nick may have been in the room too.
Okay.
And all you heard in the background was, oh, woo!
Oh, yeah, from the outside, the hyena.
And he was just like going on and on. And it was like every 5 minutes. And Nick was like, I don't want to be that guy to say, shut up. And I was just
be that guy.
I was like, be that guy. Go scream out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as someone who watches the feeds, it got really annoying to watch. Well, listen, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
But it was really annoying to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings me to Nikki, who her diary rooms this week were so amazing with the Rail, Rule. Sounds like Paul.
Darling.
AUL. I loved that. I love when Nikki gets saucy. Going forward, she needs to be more saucy.
Yeah,
she had more Latin flavor and spice to her than Raul did.
Oh, totally. She rocks it. I mean, the diary room, Nikki, that's my highlight of this season. Single-handedly, I think.
Single-handedly, it'd be a completely different game if they were not even in there.
It would be I hate to say even worse.
I don't know how much of it I would actually be able to like.
Without Nikki and Tim, exactly.
They are entertainment. They are TV. You want good TV. That's what they are.
Right. And Nikki, I think, is actually a decent person.
I love Nikki.
Yeah. She's just
I just want to pick her up and like
tell her it's all going to be okay.
It's all going to be okay. But at the same time, I enjoy her meltdowns. So I'm kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
But that would be exactly, I also think like that brings me to like the Canada thing too.
Sure.
I think she may have needed it this week. Mm-hmm. I think she needed to see that she is a fan favorite.
When she was smiling just for getting chosen, it just showed the authenticity of Nikki. It was very cute to see. I agree.
She was kind of like speechless.
She was, and I think it was the one chance maybe to get a Nikki HOH, and unfortunately it didn't happen, but
it was a game of chance.
Hey, she might win a comp.
Okay, so let's talk about this briefly.
Yes.
Raul is evicted by 6-1 vote, and Tim is the vote to keep him. Strategic or pity?
Or Tim.
Or Tim.
I think it's option C.
What do you like? Why?
I think he doesn't like, well, I guess this was the first time this season that it would have been a unanimous vote, right?
So you think it was a pity, kind of?
Well, I think not a pity, not in the sense that he felt sorry for Raul, in the sense that Tim doesn't believe in unity when it comes to voting ever, I think.
And
Just like fundamentally.
David Sandel on Twitter also had just mentioned that he thinks it may have been strategic and just simply stirring that pot up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure to a certain extent, absolutely. It's Tim. He's always got something in the back of his mind. Like he doesn't do anything for no reason, I don't think.
Tim's been up to Tim antics today.
Oh, yeah?
Well, we'll talk about that.
Well, let me know, yeah.
So the goodbye messages, do you think any of these house guests actually realize there's a jury?
Well, again, Kelsey didn't know, right? That jury. I just find that hilarious.
But
yeah.
They're all just going to send everyone out angry.
Cassandra
is the one exception to the rule. Once again, you see Cassandra's puppet master brain actually working a little bit.
Totally. And she does that clever thing where what I would do as well if I was in her position,
send them out happy.
Send them out by complimenting them. So she was like, Raul, you were the only person who actually realized what I was doing. So first of all, you compliment her own game by doing that. But second of all, she's complimenting Raul and making him feel better. And I don't know why everybody else doesn't take that opportunity instead of, as you said, just saying a goodbye message. Yeah.
Like Maddie, see you never.
Yeah. That means she's canceling out that vote entirely. Exactly.
Like, way to send the jury mad.
Right.
But like, this is the theme of the season. None of these people realize in their goodbye messages, they could actually be a little bit more strategic.
Which was something that Neda did really well, if you remember.
And I think that's the recruit in some of these people.
Totally, because I think they see the game in more of a one-dimensional way.
When there's many facets to the game, if you want, I learned that the hard week. I hate to put it to the online game world, but I learned the hard way this week. So maybe you should try to be a little nicer in your goodbye.
It's the last thing they're going to have in mind before finale. You want to do everything you can to take advantage of that.
And and that goes to the same thing as like when you're answering those jury questions, finale night.
Yeah.
You guys, they need to realize that these people seal your fate. They don't care.
Exactly.
And I would personally rather be sending people out happy, but that's me. I don't know. I hope not just Cassandra realizes it, but I think it's only going to be Cassandra really realizing the impact these could actually have.
Yeah, like the brothers. In Mitch's message last week, they came across, that was the one time I felt like they weren't playing the game well, when they were just very kind of arrogant in the way they were talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Hey, but this is why, like I said 3 weeks ago when we first talked, Cassandra's going to win Big Brother Canada 4.
And at the rate she's going, it's going to happen. I love that we talked about this last week. So I want to just so spoiler, if you didn't watch the episode, well, you should have watched the episode because it was one of the best and maybe deserved a little bit more hype than what it got.
Mm-hmm.
So Canada, we voted Nikki and the brothers for that chance at the roulette table.
Right.
Oh my goodness. And I don't know why do you think Canada chose the brothers? Because I don't think they're getting the greatest edit. And I do not think they have a lot of
support.
fans. Yeah.
See, in my opinion, I would assume that if the votes went down in a percentage sort of way, I would assume that Nikki got like 50% of the vote. And
Nikki got 52.
Oh, she actually did?
Something like that.
Oh, there you go. And I would assume that everybody else was really close, so they just got that little edge. Why they got that little edge? Well, they're two people, right? So if you like Nick, maybe you want them to be it. Oh, if you like Phil, you want them to be it. They've also never been HOH before. they've never been nominated before, so they've never been in a position where we could really watch what they do when they're put under pressure. So maybe that's why Canada thought it'd be exciting versus...
So why I think, I know I'm obviously Nick and Phil fan.
Did you vote for them?
I voted 5 hours straight voting.
So maybe that's why they got it, right?
But I think as a fan, I've known that it's about to be a pivotal week in general.
Mm-hmm.
I've also known that it's time to draw the sand in the line. You've got to choose sides. You can't be on the fence. And I really wanted to see, I really think they need to make a move.
Yeah.
And I really thought that my boys, I really wanted to see them HOH because I personally wanted more camera time. But it is what it is. And then we talked about this last week too. We knew a roulette kind of style game was coming.
Yeah.
And it is Big Brother Roulette. It played out very simple. But before, I want to just touch this topic quickly. During the commercial break, Nick... Oh, no, sorry, it was Phil with
the
Nikki.
Conversation with Nikki? Yeah.
Yes. Asking what she wanted to happen. And then Nikki's response was asking what Phil wanted.
I like that she did that. She picked up on the fact that he wasn't giving anything away.
And so obviously she wanted Cassandra on the block.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to happen. And then Phil had mentioned that the house has been pressuring him to put up Maddie. Right. If he's ever HOH. So I think this may have foreshadowed what is going to happen this week. However, Cassandra drops the first ball and it lands on Nikki. Yay.
Yay.
The one comp she could have won.
Exactly.
And it just so happens that Jared, Joel, Kelsey, and Rams, all their balls fall into the brothers.
Right.
Which means our new HOH is Nick and Phil. Yay. I'm so excited. I was excited, but so the last 24 hours have been kind of like a cray-cray in the Big Brother house.
Yeah, so I don't know about this, so you got to tell me.
Okay, so obviously everybody scrambled last night.
Mm-hmm.
I think nobody really knew what was going to happen. And that's why I wanted them to be HOH, because it wasn't going to be a predictable week.
Right.
Or was it? So it was back and forth between Maddie Ramsey or Jared and Kelsey. It was very flip-flop all freaking night. So before bed last night, they had came to the decision of nominating Kelsey and Jared. I
read that and I was so happy about it.
Oh, thank God, thank God, thank God.
But alas,
this morning,
the prom king and queen got their way.
The prom queen and king have kind of put the brothers in this really awkward position.
Okay.
So they basically threatened Phil and Nick's life in the game.
Because that's how they play, right? With threats always.
So their aggression came out, and they said, they basically made it 6 versus 2. Well, technically 4.
So what can you elaborate?
So from what I gathered, I'm going to go back and watch the actual conversation that happened.
Right.
But it sounds like as a house, which I do not believe to be true, Jared and Kelsey have decided basically
I love that. As a house, Jared and Kelsey have decided
that as a house, Jared and Kelsey have decided that Maddie and Ramsey need to be on the block with Maddie leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a house, everybody kind of came to them and was like, that's exactly what we want, or something. I guess this conversation took place in the hot tub area.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Tim, Nikki. Wait, so because I didn't see this.
So
Tim, Nikki, and Cass, I guess, talk to the brothers.
okay.
So there you see Cassandra. Her name is in there again. Planting the seeds. And basically,
actually, you know how we're talking about her wanting Nikki out? She's wanted Ramsey out for a long time, hasn't she, as well?
I think it's been like a caddy. I want Maddie out too.
Well, those two. So again, it's actually Cassandra's nominations, right? Again.
So here's the situation we're currently in. The peer pressure to nominate Jared and Kelsey has been real all day, which means the brothers aren't going to make the move that we want them to make. And I think this could be the downfall to their game.
By getting rid of, right.
I think had they nominated Jared and Kelsey, I feel like the house would have been like, I guess this can work.
And they probably would have been happy about it. And the amount of love they would have gotten from Maddie for getting rid of Kelsey.
And I think it would have solidified a little bit more of the Maddie, I want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly think Maddie and Ramsey are better for the brothers' games than Prom King and Queen Jared.
Right. I would agree.
So.
But they've been scared of Jared and Kelsey from the start, haven't they?
And this is what's so frustrating to me.
Right.
Is your HOH, pull the trigger before Jared comes for you. Because Jared is your best friend right now because he knows he has no choice.
But he spent weeks trying to get you out.
He has been wanting you out since day one.
Right.
And they have been around. They know their name has been thrown out there. So what? I mean, Phil just wants to make the house happy, which I get. But at the same time, I'm not sure it's going to make the house a happy home.
Right. I think, it sounds like a weak move to me.
And the other thing I'm looking at it as, too, is the situation where I guess you could backdoor them.
Yeah, I guess.
But they're not going to.
Who would you want to go out of Maddie and Ramsey?
I think this is a stupid move. But it's going to be Maddie going home.
See, I hope it's Ramsey, actually. I'm so done with him as well.
It's just Maddie has proven herself in the game.
She has.
In competitions, and I was not her biggest fan at the beginning, and now she's kind of like,
this past week, right? It's kind of like, oh, Maddie.
I've actually not minded her so much.
Same. Whereas Ramsey is like I'd rather watch Nikki's Banana on the feeds.
But today he's been campaigning.
He's been good. Well, I read a lot that it was Maddie that was orchestrating the most of it.
Yeah, but then he sat in the HOH room with Phil and Nick and was like, hey, this is stupid. Do not do this. And the brothers have a huge respect for Ramsey. So I think at the situation it is as it is.
Maddie will go home.
Maddie will go. But I think, I don't know if the nominations are solidified, and I think it's a matter of who talks to them before they do it.
Right. See, for me, I'm just the nominations haven't happened yet, you think?
Feeds went down about an hour ago, and
okay. So we're waiting.
They're happening.
See, for me, the main reason I'd like Maddie to stay is because, to me, she's the one person who's got that focus on getting rid of Kelsey and Jared, and mainly Kelsey.
And that brings me to, they were all there when Mitch streamed and said to every single one of them before he left, if the
Kelsey
three are there, they have my vote.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a reason enough to send them out the door?
You'd think, not to mention the fact that they've both shown each other loyalty time and time again, more so than Maddie and Ramsey have shown each other.
I think, like I said, I think they're being strong-armed. I think there's the intimidation factor of how Jared is playing the game, and I think that's why.
Yeah, I don't know. Sad times.
But I know it's like I would like 5 minutes just to tell them, you know what? That dude is coming for you the second he has a chance.
Right.
Wake the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just driving me insane. And then so Tim had this crazy idea earlier today where he was like, I'll go up as a pawn.
Oh, really? Typical.
And then Jared responds back with, you know, bro, I do not think that is necessarily a solid idea because pawns do go home in this game, essentially was the gist of what he was saying to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, finally, someone knows what's going down.
But also telling Tim that is not very smart. It's basically Dumb, Dumber, and Cassandra, this cast.
I feel like they planned it for Cassandra to win.
Watch this space.
She is in this position right now.
Would you say, so if I had to ask you right now, who would you predict to win this season? If you had to give one name. We'll check at the end of the season whether you were right or wrong.
I have to say, if Cassandra is at the end, it's hers.
Agreed. That's my pick as well, actually. We'll see.
That being said, I would really like to see the brothers at the end. But
dedicated fan.
They are going down as quick as the Titanic this week. The HOH was the downfall to their game.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see, right? We'll soon see, because a lot of people thought Tim's HOH with the gummy bears would be the downfall to his game, and it ended up not really being the downfall to his game. So
yes, but Maddie and Ramsey are a horrible idea.
It doesn't do much for them.
They would have been more loyal to them going forward.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is what really ticked me off about Jared was last night. It was all Kelsey campaigning hard to keep them safe.
Oh, she was able to do that?
She was trying. After that conversation, they decided that they were nominating them. However,
typical Kelsey chats.
However, so that conversation, and then Jared, you could tell last night he did not want to be in there sucking up. He didn't want to go in there. He didn't want to have a conversation with the brothers. As Maddie and Ramsey, they were like all about it. Like Jared wasn't playing nice.
Right.
Fast forward to today, after the conversation that Tim, Nikki, Cass had with the brothers in the hot tub area.
Which, yeah, that's when it all changed.
Jared is acting like he's BFFs with them. It's so fake. It's driving me nuts. I cannot take much more of him.
He's such a loyal guy.
He is so fake. And like, it actually churns my stomach. And listen, and the thing that's really annoying is now so I watched the feeds for a little while this afternoon, and he was just perched in the HOH room.
Right.
He is not leaving the HOH room. He's not giving the brothers space because he knows if they think
he and Kelsey would go up,
they're going on the nomination block.
Mm-hmm.
But I
guess that's smart.
Before the feeds went out, it was finalized that Maddie and Ramsey were going up. So I don't know.
So that's the week we're expecting to see.
Yes. Which going forward, if that's the case, say Maddie won POV, took herself off the block.
Hopefully it's a like intelligence competition, because that's where Maddie seems to be strong, like memory and like.
Do you think they have the balls to pull the trigger? Or do you think it's going to be a weak nomination going up beside whoever is removed?
I could so see. I don't know. I just think that the brothers have played such a cautious game up until now that the kind of move they would do, I could just so see them putting up Joel or Nikki and having Joel or Nikki go home. I can just see that happening.
Well, as long as Rail isn't hiding the brownies in jury, I don't think
Nikki will mind.
Nikki will care. But that's like, it's been I don't know if if Maddie takes herself off the block.
That's when it gets exciting. I would agree about that.
I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what happens.
So Team Natty for now.
Only because she actually has their best interest.
And
where Jared and Kelsey have been fake all freaking the last 24 hours. They've been fake. They're pissing me off.
Well, all season, really, right?
Yeah, but like especially
particularly, right?
They're really showing their true colors the last like 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And
are they still doing that thing? Kelsey used to do this where she would like go up to Levita's room and be all friendly, and then the second she comes down, start bitching about them.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is really dumb because anybody could hear, and you say one thing, you have to be so careful, and I don't know.
All season. And I'm just like, I'm over it. I'm done. I would love to see the brothers get them out. The thing is, nobody's winning this game if Jared and Kelsey are sitting final two.
Right.
If any one of them is sitting beside you, final two, they're winning this game.
You think so?
Yeah, hands down.
Just for being able to get there.
Yeah, because everybody's blind to them.
Which would make it the worst winner of Big Brother Canada ever. Regardless.
Winners, really, like, it's interesting you say that.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, the only move John made was taking Netta out final two.
Well, I do think John was the worst winner of the three. But I think I was always, Netta was the one who deserved to win. I think even
I was
played a better game than John, personally, I think. But he was a likable guy, and I guess that's a part of the game, right?
And
he cut Netta, the famous.
That was the only move he's made.
Right.
Everything else was Netta.
But that happens in this game.
And then I love Sarah, but I feel like a lot of the twists helped her get to the end last year.
Totally. I still think Willow would have won the season if all the twists hadn't happened.
I feel like maybe
Willow or Zach or Kevin, like one of those. Bruno.
I was all about Kevin all season. Kevin and Jordan. Newport.
Oh, see, I miss that so much.
So I was all about them, and I don't know, like even Godfrey slept through the season.
But
that was the worst.
Amazing game, I thought.
But like it was like someone, I don't know. I love Sarah. Sarah's great, but she didn't deserve it.
You think?
No.
We could debate about that for a long time, I think.
That could be a whole show.
Exactly.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like
it happens that the person who doesn't deserve to wins the season.
Let's be realistic.
Jordan Lloyd, Big Brother 11.
Yeah.
Like she was the worst player of the final three, yet she still won. Like I guess it happens.
And it happens more often than we think.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Herron.
Well, I'd like to think he was a better player than Gina Marie.
I prefer Gina Marie over Andy Herron.
Oh, no. I can't. I can never condone Gina, Spencer, Aaron, any of that.
But I found her entertaining. The mattress flipping was great.
Really? I thought it was disgusting.
I always end up rooting for the bad people.
I think there's a difference between bad and just like...
It was uncalled for, but it was great TV.
It was racist.
It was very racist.
Yeah, I think...
That season had a lot of controversy.
Yeah, that season was more unlikable than Big Brother Canada 4, I'll give you that.
But I don't know. I didn't like... Andy was just vile to me. I didn't like him at all.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that sentiment, but I also thought he was a decent player.
I think we only really seen that though in his final moments of the game.
You think so? Well, I thought he played a very Willow game, right? Or Mitch game, but made it work.
And like I said, Mitch is anyone that is sitting final two. If the trio is there, he's got their vote.
Supposedly, yeah.
I don't know if that will be the case, but we'll see. Everything changes. I think you really, when
You have
voting,
to be agile.
when voting, I think it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, these people that are sending angry people to jury, what are you doing?
As we said, they're giving the check to Cassandra.
And I don't think they realize it.
Mm-hmm. Well, how many people are left now?
I think they're at 9.
Of which 5 are recruits.
I believe so. It amazes me how many recruits have gotten this far.
Yeah, which is, and also I think this is the Big Brother Canada season that's had the most recruits. Or it is the Big Brother Canada season that's had the most recruits, isn't it?
It is. So moving forward this week, who do we think is going to be evicted on Thursday? We're going to be back on what, Tuesday?
Tuesday,
we decide Tuesday, or is it Wednesday?
I think Wednesday afternoon, versus Tuesday night.
Okay, so Wednesday before the episode, we'll be back.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss Sunday's episode.
What the brothers end up doing.
Oh, I'm so nervous. I'm like a family member this week. It's like Jordan on the block all over again. Oh my God. So we'll be back on Wednesday before the episode, I believe, or after. We haven't fully nailed down a time yet. And then we'll be able to discuss everything leading into the eviction. But as it stands right now, I do believe Maddie will be evicted this week.
Which means another fan goes home.
Rest in peace to the brothers game. And
it's okay, Cassandra, you got this.
Oh, that's one thing I wanted to mention. Why are they bringing a UFC guy into the house on Thursday?
I don't know.
What is his role?
I couldn't tell you.
I'm over special guests. Let's leave the outside world people in the outside world.
Unless it's Dan Giesling. He can come anytime.
Or if you're going to send just had a baby Rachel Riley back into the Big Brother Canada house, or even Tahan. I would love Tahan to go in.
Over the UFC guy, totally.
But it is absolutely right. It is advertising. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. Should be interesting. He's probably hosting the family-driven HOH competition for next week.
Sounds good.
I don't know. I think they're going to have like family members from home.
Oh, really?
And have to answer questions.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
I don't know. I'm throwing things into the universe in hopes that they happen.
I guess we'll see, yeah.
No, UFC is not on Global. David, you're nuts. And we will be back. I will get you guys an exact time when we nail it down. We will see you next week on the Fallout.